Hello, this is Peter Stewart. Thanks very much indeed for listening to today's episode of our podcast, Get a Better Broadcast, Podcast and Video Voice. Now, most radio stations and obviously all TV stations have their newsreaders read scripts from a screen or an auto cue rather than paper printouts. We'll look at using auto cues for TV people later in the podcast series. But for radio presenters, off-screen reading causes potential problems. The screen in your studio that you're reading off should be directly in front of the presenter. Having it to the side or not at eye level means that your posture and therefore your breathing is compromised, and that results in a poorer delivery. And also, importantly, you can't annotate, you can't mark up on-screen scripts for reading out loud, and we'll come to marking up for intonation and for meaning and for breath and things like that a little bit later on in the podcast series. And that means that new newsreaders especially can get into the habit of reading a collection of words without the advantage of underlinings, of important words, or slashes to mark where to take breaths, and so on. And that can really cause a problem. It's really difficult to train people when you haven't got that hard script on a piece of paper in front of them. And when you're sitting, we've mentioned this before, your guts, your stomach, your large lunch are displaced and pushed into the dome of the diaphragm, restricting its ability to work properly. Standing allows things to kind of settle back into a better place, and that helps your breathing technique. So if you need to sit and things feel a little bit tight, then loosen a belt or undo a button on your trousers. Feel a little bit easier. Just do it out of sight so you're not seen messing around with that kind of area out the corner of someone's eye in another studio. Could be a little bit awkward. And remember to do up the button or the belt again before you leave the studio. Don't ask me how I know.